Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Astros Baseball. We got the whole crew here: Wally, Steph, Ryan, and we also had three baseball games this weekend. Some interesting takes from our manager and a lot of other things we got to cover. So, first, let's start with Wally. How was your day, pal?
It was good. It was good. I've got my little Tio Ernesto's seasoning brand that we had a demo at Bearings, and thanks to the people at Bearings for putting it together. I had 2 days this weekend. It was busy. We sold some Cuban spices. Watched some Astros. It was a good weekend.
What'd you do, Steph?
Went to the Dynamo home opener yesterday, which was amazing. So much fun. Got to sit in their brand new field seats, which the view was incredible. I didn't think I would enjoy being that close to the game, and luckily I did not get hit by a soccer ball. So small wins. And yeah, today kind of relaxed, did a little video game streaming, and yeah, now we're here. So
How was the
pretty solid
crowd?
day
'Cause they
overall.
were. How was the crowd? Because they were really good last year.
Yeah, there was a decent crowd for sure. I will say the supporter section looked amazing. They had the vibes going really hard the whole time, so it was awesome. It was a really, really good time.
All right, last but not least, Ryan.
Yeah. Hey guys, good to be back and hanging out with y'all. Just enjoyed this beautiful weather that we had this weekend. I actually power washed the driveway today and did some things outside with the kids. And yesterday was kind of a honey-do day. Like we just hung out here at the house and did a bunch of stuff and watched some baseball over the weekend too, which was great. So overall, it was just a wonderful weekend. Yeah.
So for me, I don't even remember yesterday. I couldn't tell you what I did. I have no idea. It's a blur. But today we went to church, then we went to eat, and then we went to the home and garden show at the Alamo Dome and spent a lot of money once again. The last time we went, I got a hot tub and a pergola. This time I didn't spend quite as much money, but it was still a considerable amount.
Sounds like you didn't because you haven't quite finished paying off what you got at the last one.
Oh, I paid it off already. All right, so I pay everything off, Wally.
I do
Let's
too.
start with this. The first impressions of the Astros. I think Saturday was a pretty good impression from the offense. Dubon had an RBI single after Chaz had a triple. Jake drove one in. These are three guys right here with Chaz, Jake, and Dubon that are major players on the team. Caratini, backup catcher with some skills here. Two-run double. Jolks had a two-run single. We talked about him, being one of the guys that could fight for that last position. And then Dubon drove up another one. I think after 3 innings, the Astros were up 7-0. And I think the game ended up 7-0. But Ronel Blanco, somebody that, if they go to a six-man rotation and JP France isn't ready, and if JV isn't ready, we'll talk about that later. He did good. 2 innings, a hit, two strikeouts, and no walks. Steffi, what do you think about this offensive explosion by these everyday players and then Blanco's start?
Yeah, I thought it was amazing. The game did end up 7-4, so Nationals did get on the board a little bit, but obviously got the win, which is always nice on the first game. But yeah, I thought Blanco looked sharp. It was nice to see him out there on the mound. Again, like you said, if we have some guys that are still out, he could be a good option to just kind of keep the rotation rolling. I thought Doobie was incredible. And one of the things I noticed, they talked about how they want to be a lot more aggressive on the base path, and you really saw them putting that into action on Saturday. Caratini, I think, was the one that went from first to third. So yeah, it was good seeing the guys really kind of legging out some of these hits and trying to get some stolen bases, and it was fun to watch. It made it more exciting. So I had a great time watching what little of the game I got to watch, but it was fun.
It was great to see baseball on TV, even if like Steffi, I had it playing in my ear and kind of just walking around the house and it was just really good. Yeah, I loved watching some of these guys that we're gonna have to count on. They're not the big boys, the names that a lot of people put on the back of their jerseys, but to see Chaz and Jake and Dubon and, Victor out there doing what they need to do in the first game of spring training, looking healthy, fresh legs. It was very encouraging. Yeah, it was really great. It was interesting to watch Joe manage that game too, even though it was the first spring training game. I think it was the 5th or 6th inning. The Nationals had some runners on, and Joe brought the infield in, and I was like, "Oh, that's a total AJ Hinch move!" Like, like he's brought the infield in. Anyway, it was just really good. It'll be so much fun and interesting to see how Joe manages this spring training and gets these guys ready.
Yeah, a few things that I saw. When I look at spring training games, especially this early, really the first probably 4 innings is really all that matters, because when you've got everybody wearing 90 as their number on the field, that probably means they're not going to make the team. But it is good to see the Bryce Matthews get out and get some reps. But a few things that came out, the people who we expected to look good. In the first game, you had the Nationals threw their regulars out, and they just got pummeled. I mean, Patrick Corbin has just turned into a dog with fleas. And, it's 7-0 at the end of 3. Blanco looked good. Relievers came in behind him, looked good. What I found, and in the Sunday game, Hunter Brown looked really good. The one we were able to say, when the Mets game wasn't on, but both those guys came in through 2 clean innings, looked good. What I found most interesting about the first game is when they had Crane in the interview, and when Crane was talking to TK, he was talking nicely. He didn't completely throw Dusty under the bus, but he did say he expected the team to be, to play tighter. And it was like he was noticing the same thing we've talked about on the cast, is the Astros were sloppy last year. Crane is a former college player. He saw it. And as a fan, you hate to see the team play sloppy. If another team has more talent, they just beat you, but you want to be able to make them earn everything they can. And that seems to be the message that Crane has been given to Espada, and Espada's being very aggressive.
All right, so Dubon went 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Caratini and Jolks had 2 RBIs. Player of the game for me, Mauricio Dubon, 3 for 3, 2 RBIs. Game 1 on Sunday, the Astros didn't even score. I don't know how this affects you, but Altuve, Alex Bregman, Kyle Tucker, Jose Abreu, and Yainer Diaz. Well, Kyle Tucker went 0 for 1 with the walk, but everybody else went 0 for 2. Cabbage went 0 for 2. Jacob Melton went 0 for 2. But La Perfido, he went 2 for 2. But Wally already talked about it. Hunter Brown, 2 innings, 2 hits, and 2 strikeouts, no walks. It seems like every pitcher that we're going to count on maybe this year, no walks in their first start, although they didn't, pitch 2 innings. And then Magic Man gave up a hit. If you guys are new to the show, Magic Man is Seth Martinez. Yeah, so really
one thing
nothing to talk about there, right?
Well, one
Martinez
thing
got
about
a defensive fluff too.
Yeah, one thing about the game today is that first two guys up are Altuve and Bregman. Both of them hit bombs to left field. Both those balls would have been off the train tracks or close to it, and they had the wind blowing in big time. And so the first two batters, there was fly balls to the warning track. And
So
and again,
not totally bad then.
nah, and it's early in the game. These guys are just getting swings. They want to, of course, they want to get hits, but it's timing and looking for something to improve their season.
Yeah. Well, anybody watching or listening, I'm definitely not judging them. I'm not worried about them, and I'm not judging them. The Astros in the second game, they didn't score till the 8th, so they didn't really do much. And Wally had mentioned before we went on the air that split squad, you lose them both. And we talked about it a couple podcasts ago. The winning and losing record actually somehow matters. Caratini went 1 for 3. Will Wagner got a hit. Whitcomb 2 for 2. The Astros lost 3-1, but Belak 1 inning, 2 hits and a run, no walks. And here's the one for me. If you guys remember, I told you look out for this kid. Rhett Koba, 2 innings, no hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Definitely the player of the game of game 2 on Sunday.
Cuba,
No truth to the rumor
Cuba,
that no truth to the rumor
Cuba.
that Rob's going to have a Red
Cuba.
Cuba Red Cuba fan club banner behind him in the next podcast.
Coba. It's Coba.
Coba.
Fellas. It's Coba.
Cuba.
All right. Y'all have anything else to say about the games? The panel. The
First 3
panel
games of spring
says-
training. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
panel
it
says
is
no.
it is what it is.
All right, folks. If you're here, you are going to get some conversation on this next topic. Joe Espada is going to try and put Yordan in the 2-hole. Ryan, you're laughing. Let's start with you.
Oh man, I love Joe Espada and his brain. This is an analytics move, y'all. Like, this is huge. It's most people are like, oh my gosh, you're gonna take RBI chances away from him, and he's not gonna have 2 runners on base. And did you guys not watch what Aaron Judge did in 2022, batting second behind Josh Donaldson? Yeah,
Or Mike Trout.
or Trout. I mean, Judge hit 131 RBIs, walked 111 times. I wrote some notes down here. Had a 10.6 WAR, guys. That was with a 0 D WAR as a 2-hole batter. Basically, that means that he contributed nothing defensively, everything with his bat. Look, this is a chess move for Espada. Right, left, Altuve, Yordan, Breggy, Tucker. Could there be an argument that maybe Tucker should be in the 2-hole because of his speed and his ability to steal bases? Maybe. But I like this. My only concern, I guess, is Altuve's two blondes on the base paths. Sometimes he's just not the best. Last couple of years on the base paths. If we can tighten that up a little bit, this doesn't concern me at all. I think that this is, I think it's a great, smart chess move by Espada. My only other concern would be this puts a little bit of pressure on Breggy in the 3-hole, which maybe he doesn't need coming into this contract year with a little bit of the mentality of I got to perform big time. I don't know. I like it. I'm a fan. Let's go.
Wally?
Yeah, Ryan started to talk about it, but the right, left, right, I wonder if Altuve was whispering into Espada's ear and says, man, I could really use that kind of protection. Because he's going to get some fastballs to hit. I like it too. You give it a try. One thing it does in the first inning, it immediately puts a ton of pressure on the other team. There's no getting into this game. It's like you've got Altuve and you've got Yordan and you've got the better part of 55 home runs looking at you. The first two guys coming up. And Yordan, and people talk about Yordan's running as a base runner. He's one of the best base runners on the team. He's not a base stealer. But I mean, when you look back in the day, Bagwell, even though when Bagwell lost a lot of his stolen base speed, he was still the best base runner on the team. You don't have to be a base runner, a base stealer to be a great base runner.
Yep.
You try it. You try it in spring training. You see if it works. If you like it, you keep on doing it. If you don't like it, you put Tucker in there. Give him a try.
Yeah, I don't know what I can say that wasn't already said because I was going to say the thing about it being spring training. That was all I had. So
Yeah.
But no, I think it's an exciting move. I think it's cool to see the way that Espada is trying to do things different. He's obviously showing his own managerial style and the way that he's putting together these lineups and the way that he's communicating with the fans. I mean, you're really just getting Joe Espada's touch right off the bat. And I think it's amazing to see. And I mean, like the guy said, it's a chess move. It's spring training. So if we're going to try it, let's try it now and see how it works out. So I'm excited to see, what kind of damage Yordan can do a little higher up. I think it's gonna be fun.
Back to talking about Espada and back to Crane's conversation. One thing I also got out of that Crane conversation is he really likes Espada. And I think that even if Dusty had not retired, I think Crane had it with Dusty and he thought Dusty had run his course.
So if Yordan bats second, you're looking at Altuve, Yordan, Alex Bregman, and Kyle Tucker. That's what McTaggart said. But I have the quote from him. He said, this is from a spot, "I'm going to give that a look and see how it works out." He said he sees Altuve and Yordan being a 1-2 punch to the face right out of the gate. So what Ryan said about Aaron Judge is just like, imagine that. I think the 2-hole is like the best spot in the lineup to get a lot of hits. And, they talk about RBIs, but you're going to get more at bats. The higher you are up in the order, you're going to get more at bats. But somebody, I think Kyle Tucker could, I know Altuve's always going to be the leadoff guy because who he is, but he wasn't always the leadoff guy. Springer used to lead off. But, if you need a leadoff guy to get on base, you got Alex Bregman, who always has the highest on base percentage. Kyle Tucker's a 30-30 guy, but he's also a 100 RBI guy. So I like him batting fourth. So I think that's a pretty good lineup. I mean, I like it. I like Damage Incorporated being together because I like the name, but I think it's it excites me that Joe Espada will do, let's try this. Not just like, well, this is my lineup, like let's figure out what's the best going into the season and see how it works out. I like it.
With the universal DH, the position in the batting lineup means so much less than it did when you had a pitcher. When you had a pitcher, you would not burn your best hitter in the second spot. Now you've got his fast guy coming at the end of the lineup, and it's just more fun for Yordan to have.
Rob, you said something that was really interesting. Batting in the second hole is probably going to get him 15 to 20 more plate appearances over the course of the season. That's significant. That's significant. One of the interesting things that when I just looked up a little bit of numbers here in the Judge years, and I don't like talking about Aaron Judge a lot, but that was significant. 22, right? He had 131 RBIs, right? Hitting behind Donaldson. Donaldson only scored 59 runs in 22. So what this shows you is later in the game, when that 2-hole gets coming back up through the rotation or through the lineup, it's significant when you've got guys at the bottom of your lineup that can get on base and turn the lineup over again. And you've got a guy like Yordan in the 2-hole. It's huge. I love it. I love the move.
How many times did you ever late in the game and it's like Alex Bregman is up with 2 outs and you're like, wow, Yordan's like 2 or 3 batters away, like 2 batters away, but he's going to be in that position a little more now, I guess, more chances at bat. I think it's a pretty good move. But what did you guys hear about JV? He's got the injury we all know about. What have y'all heard about him? I know it's going well, and I have a quote from him if you want me to start it off. He said, "I'm bouncing back pretty good, trying not to overdo it, and I'm listening to my trainers." And also the thing about JV is he knows if he's ready. He's not gonna waste his entire season trying to jump back in too soon. We've got so many starting pitchers that there's no need to rush him. I hope he gets back in time for game 1 because we play the Yankees and Garrett Cole. That'll be pretty awesome. But as long as he does whatever he needs to do to stay healthy, because it's a long season. Steffi, what you got on JV?
Yeah, I mean, I read that article too about JV, and I think the biggest thing is they don't even want to take it looking into the next week or the week after. They're trying to take it day by day to make sure that he's putting himself in the best position to get back as soon as possible. And I mean, I think that's a great outlook. I think it's a great way to do it. They said that he feels like he's progressing very well every single day and there's progress. So, I mean, I think, hey, JV is one of those guys, like you said, he's not going to sit there and push himself to where he ends up getting injured later on down the line because he got in too quick. If he has to miss a start, he's going to do it. Because I mean, he's got to be good for the long haul and not just for the short term. And again, like you said, hopefully he is back by opening day because him and Garrett Cole, I would love to see that matchup. So fingers crossed that the progress keeps going positive and that he's able to get back ASAP.
Yeah, and even if he's not stretched out, right? Like just start the first game to start opening day, even if you're just throwing 4 innings, and you're not fully stretched out. Let's, it's kind of hopeful, right? Kind of get your little prayer, get Jobu out of the closet, right? And offer a cigar and some rum, and let's get it going. No, I think that he's a professional. He knows his body. The daily checkups are the thing. These guys know their regimens, especially a guy that's been around as long as JV. He knows his regimens. He knows how his body feels. If he starts stretching out and he's like, this isn't ready, this isn't good for today, I'm taking another day rest. I'm okay with the guy listening to his body and figuring it out day by day. It would be nice to have him back by opening day, but I'd much rather have him on September 22nd than March 28th.
Reports I've heard is that he says it's going to be a tight call to see if he can make it by opening day. I think we talked about it a few casts ago. If you put him as the 5th starter, then you still run him right next to Fromber. And so say he kind of misses a turn. He really doesn't, but let's get him right. Especially when you've got a 41-year-old body that does not recover the same way a 21-year-old body does. The old saying, you can't win a championship in April, but you sure can lose it.
All right, so Steve's watching the show live, folks. If you want to make comments, we're here live. He said he has no complaints from me. He's on the Espada bandwagon, and I think all 4 of us are on the Espada bandwagon as well.
Oh yeah. The minute Dusty
Isn't it
retired,
nice
I
that
was ready
everybody
for
else? Isn't it nice that everybody he had so many interviews and no one else pulled the trigger on him?
Yeah,
I still think that it was just unwritten that this was what's going to happen. I think that this was in the cards years ago. It's why he turned down the Marlins. It's why he turned down the White Sox. I think this was in the cards, and there was a gentleman's agreement between him and Crane that he was the heir apparent, and it's so good to see.
I always felt the same exact way, Ryan. Same. It was in the cards in the future. Oh, I love it.
Don't turn the job down. I mean, it's like you want to go manage the White Sox for this year and maybe next year, or do you want to wait and manage a team that goes to the World Series a lot and the ALCS like it's a God-given right? All right. Chaz, I think all of us agree on this. I mean, but let's hear what you got to say. Chaz, an everyday player. I don't know whose turn it is. Let's start with Ryan.
I'm conflicted. The stats say one thing, my heart says another.
Yeah.
If you go look at Chaz's, 50 plate appearance moving average, which is, about a 15-game moving average, the guy needs rest. Every 50 games, he spikes and valleys, peaks and valleys. He's a player that, by the stats, needs his games off. He needs his rest time. He needs a different look when he, plays left field or whatever it is. I think that my heart is that Chaz has proven himself. Despite everything that he went through last season, fighting with Dusty, getting hurt, whether the fight with Dusty was real or rumor, I think that Chaz has overcome a ton of adversity from a emotional standpoint and maybe even a mental standpoint as a young guy. I think that he's done exactly what he's needed to do to prove himself an opportunity to get an everyday role. I think one of you guys said everyday player or everyday role.
Yeah.
I think that Chaz, he's an all-star corner outfielder at some point in his career. As a center fielder, he's not an all-star. So I think the idea that he's going to be sharing time in left field with Yordan makes a lot of sense and is an opportunity for Chaz to play where he can be the most successful. And if it means that he's got to share some duties with Yordan and maybe he gets some DH opportunities, probably takes some time in center field from Jake when he needs some time off. But either way, I think Chaz has got to play. He's got to play 145 games this year.
What do y'all consider like an everyday player? Because I'm thinking if somebody is 130, 135 and above, that to me counts as pretty much an everyday player. He's going to get spotted. He's going to get his days off just for no other reason. You've got so many good players. I mean, even Yordan. You'd like to play everybody as much as you can, but the reality is you've got guys like Alvarez who are going to have to play, if he's healthy, 158 games a year. You're going to give Alvarez his time off at the DH, and he'll, what do you figure, play 50, 60 games in left field, something like that, maybe 65. It's, order of magnitude, that sounds about right. Chaz can play multiple positions. I think you're going to see Tucker play every game. You're going to see Myers get his chance, but between Myers, Yordan, and Chaz, they're going to kind of rotate those three positions in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, Wally, you talked about how we have, too many good players. What an awful problem to have. I hate that for us.
Yeah,
Woof.
everyone needs a problem. I'll take that one.
Right.
Oh,
Yes.
man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
too many good
I'll
players.
take that problem.
too many. I hate it.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely think it's going to be exciting to see him play a little bit more. I love Chaz as a player. I think he's one of those guys that you see him go all out every game. You don't see him really trotting on the base pads. He's a guy that you feel like you're going to get his 100% every day. And one of the things Tags brought up in the article too is just the fact that he's made strides really against a lot of breaking pitches. His average went up from 199 batting average against sliders in 22 all the way up to 268 last year. So obviously he's getting better. And I think that, the more he plays, the better he's going to get. And I'm excited to see him a little more often. I mean, even the numbers from last year, he was still in 111 games or 115, I think 115. So he was still in a good chunk of those games. But I think maybe getting into a better groove, getting into a better, knowing where you're going to be playing on a daily basis, a little bit of, or maybe not a daily basis, but knowing you're going to be playing on a daily basis is a better way to put it, will be hopefully good for him and hopefully give him a little bit more confidence too. Because I think having confidence from your manager in you is huge. And I think Espada has given that to him.
All right. This is the guy we've been waiting on forever, folks. Forrest Whitley is injured again. He's had a lot of issues on and off the field, injuries. This is the year we think. I don't think it's that big of an injury, but what have you heard about it, Wally? I was going to call you Whitey.
All I've seen is they're going to give him a week off, and see how it goes. This could be something. It could be nothing. Having a middle finger injury is not a trivial event for a pitcher. And I was thinking about this before the cast tonight. I'm just kind of wondering if the Astros should trade him to some other team just to give him a fresh start. It's like there's this cloud. There's cloud that's following Whitley, whether it's his personal life or his injuries. I mean, this is just a freak deal, and you just kind of wonder if everybody just needs to split and have a new start for him and give him a fresh chance.
Yeah, it's been a tough ride for this kid, man. I mean, we've been on this train for almost a decade now, y'all. It's crazy. Wild. The encouraging thing, though, man, is when you watch this guy work out and you watch the videos of him in the training, in the cages. he's so freaking good. Like, he has got the tools. He just can't. He's just made of glass. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I obviously wish the best for this kid. I can't wait to see if he can get healthy and get
Yeah.
up and come play, because I think that he will embrace that opportunity and make the absolute most out of it, whether it costs him injury because he's pushing too hard and wants to prove himself or not. Will be that will be the answer. That will be what's interesting, I think, to watch, is that if he comes out of the gate, if he gives a chance and he comes out of the gate pushing too hard, hurts himself, or is a little reluctant and just doesn't perform well because he doesn't want to hurt himself, if that messes up with his game. I hope not. I think he's mentally tough to have lasted through all of this and to keep chugging away. And the Astros obviously believe in this guy. They've given him every chance under the sun. So I hope the best for Forrest, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a minor injury with the finger inflammation and kind of just giving him the week off to make sure that he's not going to end up actually injuring something. But yeah, like y'all said, poor guy has just been going through it since he got drafted, and it's just been rough times. But
Yeah.
definitely hoping that the excitement of trying this new role of the bullpen and hopefully all of that will have him hyped and have him wanting to get better as soon as possible and take care of himself. And yeah, Wally, I mean, I kind of think about that too. Is it one of those moments where, this kid does need a fresh start somewhere, but the Astros don't seem ready to give up on him yet. So as long as they're not giving up on him, I'm not either. But, you look at guys like JD Martinez and, he struggled with the Astros and then goes over to the Tigers and just becomes a powerhouse. And sometimes it's a mental thing. It really is. So hopefully not, though. Hopefully we keep him, and hopefully he becomes another strength in our bullpen that is already looking pretty fantastic in my eyes. And yeah, hopefully he can make some things happen for the big league club this year.
He had an ERA over 8 in AAA. So so there's no guarantee that even if he is healthy, that he's going to be a big contributor. Now, none of us saw all of his games. Could he have gotten off to a good start and then gotten lit up in the 3rd and 4th innings? Maybe he's a 1 and 2 inning period pitcher.
Yeah.
We just don't know, because he can't stay healthy long enough to really get a good track record on him.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of his. I wish him well because he's from here in San Antonio, Alamo Heights High School. But, y'all spoke about it already. The Astros, they haven't given up on him. They've had plenty of chances to get rid of him. And just imagine, I don't know who he would have gotten, but, how many trades do you think teams were trying to make for this dude when he was our number one prospect? And we turned it down. So it's kind of like, if you buy something and you're like, I don't care if it's a piece of crap. I bought it. I'm going to use it. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't really want him to go anywhere else and succeed. I'd rather him do it here.
Hey, if Mark
Agreed.
Appel could make the bigs, he can too.
He's going to make it when he's
Facts.
like in his 40s, and Disney's going to make a movie about him. All right, it's that time now, folks, for final thoughts. We need theme music for that. All right, Wally, what you got for your final thought?
The best thing outside of Whitley having his finger get hurt that I can say about the spring so far is that everybody seems to be on their game. Nobody's gotten hurt. The team seems to be building up in a we would call a nominal manner. Everything seems just fine. You don't hear any backstory about things going wrong, people being concerned about anything. It's just kind of going along, which is what you want at this time of the spring.
I agree. My final thoughts. It was really good to see Bryce Matthews out on the field today in an actual Astros uniform and not a minor league uniform. I'm excited about this kid. I think he's going to be something special. I really do. I think Dana saw something in him that is going to be really special. He didn't perform well. He had some jitters and understandably so for the first time, but to have just been drafted and hardly have any minor league experience under your belt, and to go out there and throw on the uniform of your major league team and play across some other major league players and in the dugout with the coaches and the managers and the big league guys. I like this move by Dana and the club to get Bryce exposure to the big league team and all of the guys inside of the big league team as early as possible, because I think Bryce Matthews is going to be something special, and it'll be really interesting to watch him over the next couple of years.
I'm excited for tomorrow. Arrighetti has his kickoff of his spring training, so excited to see what this kid can do. And again, with him being a guy who's from Houston, who, kind of, this was like his dream, to play for your own big league team. So definitely excited to see him against Detroit and get some first looks. But I'm also excited that this time next week, I will be in West Palm Beach. So it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be awesome when you're there.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Are you going to
Can't
give us?
wait.
Are you going to give us remote broadcast, remote call-ins?
That's not
We'll
a question.
see.
Well,
That would be awesome.
Because my
a
computer
command,
may
isn't
not
it?
be going with me, so we will have to see about that one.
Just hold
you
your
got
phone
phone
and
apps.
just hold
You
your
got
phone
phone
like
apps.
this. You're like, all right, I'm waiting for all the guys
guys,
to come. This
here's
is
our
Stadium
spring
Steppy
training.
live from Florida.
heck
I
yeah.
gotta use that for my content, Rob. Come on.
All right,
I'll
so
use
my
it for
final
both. It's
thought
fine.
is a Brooks Gate post, because I have no final thoughts. So it has 2023 total IL days by MLB teams. Where do you think the Astros are?
I'm not going to answer because I know.
We already
Oh
know.
my goodness. You already know?
Rob, you sent
Oh,
it
he
to
shared
us.
it with us. I knew
You're not-
before
Do
you
this every
shared
time,
it with us.
Rob.
Okay,
though.
you're not supposed to read what I send you. Okay. So this is for everybody listening. I forget that I send it to you as a show note. You're just supposed to go 20. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm just
Nope.
not going to send it.
I'm too nosy for that. I'm a chismosa.
So the Astros, 13 total players. I don't know who the 13 players were. 14 IL stints, 867 days. So they had the fewest amount of players, the fewest amount of stints, and the second fewest amount of days total IL time. And I bet a bunch of that is Altuve from the injury from the World Baseball Classic. I don't know how many days he missed, but 867. I didn't know if anybody thought. I think the Astros were pretty healthy last year, except we lost Altuve at the beginning, and there's a few people that are going to get nicked up here and there, but
Yordan for a little bit, Chaz for a little
Yep.
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey,
was that a
Yordan was out for a
40-man
month,
roster?
wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Jordan was out for a month with the oblique, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's
if you
pretty
look
good
at
got
for
a
an
question
oblique.
is McCullers time on there? Is Luis Garcia's time on there? Because if they're a 40-man roster guy, or if that's what that
oh,
if that's what that list is,
it's true.
we've got
That
some
would be
40-man
high,
guys
though.
that's
because McCullers is like the whole year.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not active.
Exactly.
So maybe if they're a 60-day
Urquidy.
DL, a 60-day DL, does that tell you how old I am? If they're a 60-day IL guy,
I still call it the DL.
I know
DL.
I catch
Down
myself
on the
all the
DL.
time. Yeah,
It's not politically
Well,
maybe if they go
correct.
Urquidy was out for a while too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Urquidy was out for what, a month? And he's gone
Mhm.
out a couple months, wasn't he?
He was out a couple
He
months. 'cause
started
he
on a
didn't come-
60-day.
I
Yeah, I
can't
was
even
gonna
remember what I
say.
did yesterday. So don't ask me anything, folks. But if you want to look at the top, it's the Dodgers. And they lost a lot on that pitcher, right? The Angels, that Rondon, he played what, two games? The Yankees, the Reds, the Red Sox, the Twins, the Rockies, the Athletics, the Braves. So I don't know if that correlated to a winning or losing season, but oh well, that's it. That's my final thoughts from a Brooks Gate. So thanks for tuning in, folks. We really appreciate you tuning in to another great show of Astros baseball, or episode, I guess I should call it. Streaming live here from the Fontenot Studios here in San Antonio. We got Houston. All of y'all live in Houston?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
North Houston, the Woodlands.
Is that Houston?
yeah. Does the Woodlands
Mhm.
even know Houston exists?
Barely. Yeah, I mean, we don't make it south 1960 sometimes. So
Does it say Woodlands on your address?
the Woodlands.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ah,
The
'Cause
Woodlands.
I
How
used to
dare
live in the
you?
far north of San Antonio, and my address was Universal City, but I still told everybody
I
I
know
lived
where
in
that
San
is.
Antonio.
Mhm.
All right. So anyway, guys, sorry for wasting your time there at the end. But if you guys had half as much fun listening to this episode of Astros Baseball, we had twice as much fun as you did. See you next time.